What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Orange Crush Pod. I'm your host, JMX, co-host Trav, man. We got a really good episode for you guys today. We're gonna be going over positions that the Broncos could still fill, after the draft, everything like that. The draft is in the books. But a lot of people still think the Broncos got some holes to fill, and me and Trav gonna talk about it. But before we get into everything, Trav, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, man. It's before we get into everything, I just want to say Game 7 was for all of y'all that follow me, y'all know I went to Game 7 yesterday. It was absolutely crazy, bro. I ain't never seen it's just a crazy experience, bro. Like you watching these teams play, like it's weird seeing a basketball game like that, not college where it's win or go home for real. Like, and Rockets fans, were screaming trade this man Jalen Green. They were saying some other stuff that I'm not gonna say on the pod about Jalen Green, but I mean, it was overall just a good game. I got some good footage. I'm gonna make a video on, man. Steph Curry and them boys got the dub, but yeah, man. Hey, look, for all of y'all, try to go to playoff game, bro, or at least you. I feel like everybody got experience of Game 7, bro. I mean, it's just a crazy atmosphere. Like everybody be nervous, bro. It's literally win or go home, and it's crazy. But the Rockets got that ass whooped.
I seen your video where Curry tackled one of the Rockets players.
Bro, that's oh my god, that was so funny, bro. Like, and the thing was, like, obviously it's Game 7, so they letting them play, right? But like, it was just so funny. Like, he didn't even really go for the ball for real. He just he said fuck it and just tackled him straight to the ground. That shit was hilarious,
Who's making a play, man?
bro.
Put him at linebacker with Dre Greenlaw. We'll be good.
And another funny thing is how this man Draymond. I went to game 2 when it was really bad, bro. This dude does nothing but fight, and it's the funniest shit ever. Like, like this dude I think he slapped Fred VanVleet in the face, and this man fell on the ground. I'm like, bro. And I think game 2 he pushed Dylan Brooks, pushed. I mean, but bro, Draymond, like it's crazy when like the whole crowd is chanting F Draymond Green, like. That's crazy, bro. I ain't never experienced like the amount of hate that man has. It's crazy to me. But yeah, let's jump right into it, man. Starting off with tight end. Obviously the Broncos, we picked up Evan Ingram in the offseason. We drafted Caleb Lohner, but a lot of people thought the Broncos should have maybe tried to get a tight end earlier in the draft. It was reported like after the draft that the Broncos were interested in Ferguson, Arroyo, and who was the third one, Trav?
Um, I can't remember, but I know it was Ferguson.
It was Ferguson, Arroyo. Was it Gunner?
It might have been Gunnar Helm, but he went to the Titans.
Yeah, I can't remember who the third tight end was, man. Y'all tell us in the comments. But yeah, like the Broncos were interested in those tight ends, and sounds like that they would have took Arroyo at 51 if he had failed at 51, which is crazy because I was like, I don't know if they take him at that pick, but once Seattle took him at 50, they took him at 50, right? Yeah, that's when the
Yeah.
Broncos. Yeah, that's when the Broncos put off that trade back scenario and ended up with RJ Harvey. But I mean, in free agency, the only tight end that's really available that would kind of make sense for the Broncos in the backup role would be Gerald Everett. This year he's coming off a really probably his worst year as a pro, honestly. But he was really in the backup role behind Cole Kmet in a very stagnant Bears offense where he didn't really see much of the field. He only had 8 catches this year for 36 yards, but not focusing on this year, man. Let's talk about the 2 years he had in LA where he was really productive with Justin Herbert. He had 51 catches, 411 yards, 3 touchdowns. The year before that, 58 catches, 555 yards, 4 touchdowns. And that was him as a tight end 1. Now, I'm not saying this is a guy that's going to be a franchise changer or anything like that, but I think it's 100% an upgrade of what we got behind Evan Ingram because, like me and Trav were even saying in previous episodes, man, it's if Evan Ingram were to go down, bro, it's scary hours again. So I think getting a guy like him, like Gerald Everett, wouldn't be a bad option.
I agree, and like we talked, before the pod. I mean, a lot of Evan Ingram's game is going to be lining him up in the wide position, which is a wide receiver spot. And if we have Adam Trautman playing the true tight end position in a dual set with Evan Ingram at the Y, it's not going to look good. I mean, yeah, Adam Trautman can block good. Nate Adkins can block good. Nate Adkins can play fullback. Lucas Kroll can block good, but none of them are overall a good receiving option plus, an overall good tight end. I think they're all average, right? I think they're average blockers. But receivers, I think they're all very, very underwhelming. So I think if you get Gerald Everett, sign him on a one-year deal, I feel like that is another weapon for Bo Nix, considering when Gerald Everett had playing time with Justin Herbert, he was very productive. Like, I mean, he was putting up Jawan Johnson numbers, and Jawan Johnson just got 3 years, $30 million. So I think it would be important for us to get a guy like Gerald Everett to have that safety blanket if something happens to Evan Ingram, and also it helps out with the dual tight end sets that I believe Sean Payton will try to run with Evan Ingram.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Really any upgrade over the guys you just said. I mean, I like Nate Adkins because you can line him up like you said, fullback. He's a above average blocker at the position, but Trautman and Lucas Kroll are just they're like I think Lucas Kroll is better, but it's not really saying too much. Like I think him and Trautman are just you got to upgrade there. You know what I'm saying? It just they're just really not it, man. They're just not it, bro. And if Evan Ingram goes down, we're in trouble like we were last year. I mean, I think last year, like we were able to make it without one, but it's better to have one, bro. It's better to go out and get that really solid backup tight end to Evan Ingram. But yeah, another guy that everyone's been talking about that he was getting shopped around the draft and everything like that was Dallas Goedert on the Eagles tight end. I mean, coming off he's coming off probably one of his worst seasons. But I mean, like statistically, but I mean, he only played 10 games. He had 42 catches, 496 yards, 2 touchdowns, average 12 yards a catch. Me personally, I still think Dallas Goedert is a damn good tight end. 6'5", 256. I mean, he's an absolute unit, and for the speed of his size is damn good. The only thing that's really been concerning about Dallas Goedert really the past 3 seasons is kind of his health. He's been really nicked a lot, and missed this year. He missed 7 games. Over the past 3 years, he's missed was it 7, 11, 16. He missed pretty much almost like a full season between the last 3 seasons. So that is something to be, kind of look at. But I mean, if you bring him in to be like a tight end too, or kind of be play opposite alongside Evan Ingram, I think whatever you want to say, Cole Ones or whatever. I think he won't be as nicked as he was, and I'm not gonna lie, he can, bro. Philly line him up in the slot all the time, bro. They line him up, out wide. They don't really line him up, kind of near the line of scrimmage like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they line him up vertically, bro, and he's a killer when he's healthy. That's the only thing, though. Like his main thing is staying on the field. But hey, man, I think they said Philly was trying to trade him for basically nothing. I think at one time they said the price was like a late round pick, like a 5th to 7th round pick. So I'm not surprised if that asking price is still there.
Yeah, I agree, and that's another guy. I mean, he's miles better than what we have behind Evan Ingram, and I think Sean Payton, if he had 2 good tight ends, we would see a lot of dual tight end sets that would be pretty nice. And you may even see that if we don't get one of these guys, you may see the developmental rookie and Caleb Lawner getting a chance out there, and you never know, it might look good.
Yeah, I'm the thing of man, if we were to get Dallas Goddard, I think that would probably be the best option. Even over the one that we're about to get into next. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think it would really take much. And his contract, I'm not like crazy over his contract. I mean, he is 30 years old, but I mean, let me see, because I think they said he was old. Like, yeah, I mean, his contract is very like friendly, like because the way the Eagles work, he's only owed $1 million. So if you trade for him, the thing is like, would you give up a 5th and a 6th for Goddard?
Yeah, probably, because I feel like that's the one thing I feel like in the draft we didn't really address. Like, yeah, we got Caleb Lawner in the 7th round, but he's a developmental guy. Like, and a lot of people are comparing him to Jimmy Graham because he played 1 year of basketball. They have similar, or I mean, 1 year of football. They have similar numbers in college, and he's a big tight end that Sean's probably going to be able to develop. But I don't think we're going to see a big jump from him year one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you may see him in some red zone packages and maybe on special teams a lot next year. But I think you need a Dallas Goedert, a Gerald Everett. You need one of these guys, or even the next guy we're talking about, to kind of give you that security blanket, because Evan Ingram's also aging too, and you have Evan Ingram on a 2-year deal. Denver could very well be drafting a tight end early next draft if Evan Ingram don't pan out and they move on after 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
so you need a backup, like, for sure.
For sure. And I think that was kind of, a lot of the guys were gone, and I guess they just weren't comfortable taking Ferguson in the second round. But I mean, they're probably like, man, we got to get RJ Harvey now. And I think by the time we picked again, he might have been gone, because by the time I think we picked again at what pick?
He would have been gone
What
because
pick?
the Jags next pick they were taking him. Like, so.
No, I'm talking about Terrence Ferguson, because he was gone by the time he got back on the clock, I think.
Yeah, he
Because he got
was.
picked at 85 and we picked at 96, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or was it something like that?
We traded so many picks, I can't remember what numbers.
Yeah, I can't remember where we picked that, but I think Terrence Ferguson was gone as well, and the Broncos just missed out on one of those, big name tight ends. But the next tight end I want to talk about, Tyler Higbee, and shout out to Trav for this. He was basically the only person I've seen talking about it. Yahoo and BVN Sports, they put out an article about a trade idea that would send Tyler Higbee to the Broncos. Now, I don't agree with the price they said. They said a day 3 pick. I don't know if I'm coming off a third round pick for no Tyler Higbee. I don't know about that, but he's definitely coming off a season. He was injured this year. I think he was, because the season before, didn't he tear his ACL or something like that?
He missed 15 weeks.
Yeah. I remember it was something like he took, but it was something that happened in the prior season,
yeah,
right?
it was that I think it was against the Detroit Lions where he got hit, and it was a nasty injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, in the 3 games he played, he had 8 catches, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it's really the 2 seasons before that. 72 catches in 2022, 620 yards, 3 touchdowns. The next year, 47 catches, 495 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not gonna lie to you. Outside of the injury, like, I didn't really, in the 3 games he played, I didn't really see too much of a drop off in his play. They, like you said, they drafted Terrence Ferguson. They want to go younger. He is going to be playing this season, and I think he turns 32 this season, which is why I don't know why they're talking about giving up a 3rd round pick for a 32-year-old tight end. But I mean, I think like, if I could see anything happening, I could see a trade like this happening. We trade for Higbee, maybe give up like a 5th and a 6th round pick, and we get Higbee in a 7th. Like, one of those type of trades. And his contract isn't crazy at all by any means necessary. And I think this is the most realistic one. Like, I really do like this trade idea. And shout out to you for, finding this, because I didn't see this anywhere until I saw your video.
Yeah, I mean, and I was looking into it even more after I made that video. Like, he was a big part of that game where the Rams almost beat the Super Bowl champions and the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was a big part of that. I think that he would just be another playmaker for Bo Nix. And everybody's saying, and I know you've heard it, Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos don't want to give Bo Nix weapons, is what we've all been hearing.
Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous, bro.
But people don't realize, and I actually posted it on Twitter today, last year's draft was offensively heavy. I mean, you drafted two receivers, a running back, a quarterback, and you still have those guys. You have Audric Estime that is 20 years old. You have Troy.
He just turned 20.
You have Troy Franklin that's 22. Yeah, Devon Vele is a little bit older, but it's like, I feel like we're building the right way, and I feel like we're trying to develop talent, which a lot of fans don't understand, that you don't just give up on a guy after 1 year, because year 2 they can take that step. Look at Mims.
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah, 1 year isn't the end all be all. And the Broncos, they tried to go get a guy like Cooper Kupp, but he wanted way too much money. They went to Diggs, wanted way too much money out of their price range. I think Amari Cooper as well, but I think they want too much money. Like you saw the Broncos, bro. They try, like, but they're not gonna go overpay for a veteran wide receiver, especially when you're trying to develop these young guys as well. And a lot of Broncos fans, they just got to realize, you just got to develop some of these guys, bro. And it's like 1 year isn't the end all be all. And we got rid of bad veteran players, which I think was the main kind of focus that I want to go into the offseason. Yeah, like, I mean, bro, taking Pat Bryant, I like it. Getting RJ Harvey, like, those are upgrades of what we had. Like, we had guys in pivotal roles that were garbage, and we swapped them out with rookies. I mean, hey, bro, like, if you're not happy about that, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, and the Broncos tried, bro. Like, they tried to get Cooper Kupp. Like, they tried. Cooper Kupp was like, nah, I'm going to take my money. I'm going to go to Seattle. Okay, well, that's on you. Like, Broncos weren't going to give – how much Cooper Kupp ended up getting?
Way too much. I can't remember
like
the
$20
exact
million
number.
a year? No,
yeah, way too much.
Yeah, like, the Broncos were never going to give him that. But, yeah, I mean, speaking about Tyler Higbee, his contract is 4.5, and then he's a free agent after this season. Excuse me. I definitely think there's a realistic like world where the Rams could, be cutting him heading into like, after camp, or like, um he's one of those preseason cuts, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Not to mention Jalen Ramsey. They've been talking about getting him back on the Rams, which is definitely going to be a huge, like, cap thing, trying to get him back over there. So there's definitely going to be some cap casualties to the Rams. Not to mention they've been really making it known all offseason that they want to go really young. And Kobe Parkinson, they picked him up over there. They got Terrence Ferguson, like we said, they drafted. So do not be surprised if Tyler Higbee is one of those guys where after preseason and everything like that, he's just let go. And the Broncos could be right there. They're talking about trading him, whatever. And the Broncos are a team that, will be interested.
Yeah, I would love any of these three guys as a backup. Adam Trautman, after this season is over, I hope he gets the Jordan Humphrey treatment. I hope he gets the Javonte Williams treatment. It's not anything personal. I just think that he doesn't do enough, like, for the team. And even though he's tied in two, even though he's a tight end two, come on, bro. He was tight end one and had 188 yards. That's not enough. And anybody that tells me, oh, Adam Trautman this, Adam Trautman that, I do not care. Adam Trautman had 188 yards as the tight end one in Denver. It's unacceptable.
Facts. Yeah, I agree with everything said by Adam Trautman, bro. I mean, he is what he is. I think he's a really solid tight end three. I think Nate Adkins, like you said, I mean, Nate Adkins can play many. He's versatile. He's gonna play fullback for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's kind of his role with the team. I don't think as much as is too much of a receiving tight end, but I wouldn't mind Trautman being the three. But I mean, as far as the tight end two, the next man up, like he's not really providing anything as the next man up. And it's not necessarily just I'm not trying to knock on him too much, but I mean, it's just the truth, bro. He had 188 yards last season. Like he's not gonna be that much of a game changer for real. And the Broncos definitely need to go get that, because while our training staff is good, bro, guys will just get hurt regardless, and you got to be prepared for it. And I think defensively we're prepared for that, but offensively, bro, we are one injury away from being, you know what I'm saying? Like it's rough. Like, but yeah. Moving on to our next position, center. Now this is one I kind of want to focus over. I know a lot of people have actually started liking Luke Wattenberg, and I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means necessary, but I do think it's a position that the Broncos, could maybe look to upgrade. Like, everybody says safety was a position this offseason. I thought center would have been like something that they maybe would have looked at. And it's a little interesting. It's a little interesting. They did pick up a UDFA out of Georgia, and they gave him a really big signing bonus. They gave him a signing bonus of 20,000. Xavier Truss, the guard out of Georgia, Lance Zierlein had him as a basically projected projected as a 6th-round pick. So it kind of stands out for him going undrafted and Denver picking him up. He was second team All SEC this past season. Won a national championship in 2022. I think this is definitely something to look at. As far as like, camp battles going into the season. I'm not saying that Luke Wallenberg is going to lose his job, but I definitely think they're bringing him in to kind of challenge that position, because they're not, I don't think they're opposed to an upgrade there. I'm not saying Luke Wallenberg had a bad season. I think he had a solid season, but I think there was a few games where he did get dominated, and, getting a center could really open up the run game. Not saying the run protection was bad, but I'm saying it could really break it open and we can get that game-changing center. And I think Xavier Truss can be that. I think coming from Georgia, we all know how Georgia players translate to the league. And he's 6'7", 309. Dude is an absolute unit, bro. So yeah, and look, he was left guard, but then he was left guard the year they won the Natty. But ever since then, they moved him around. They said they moved him around all over the offensive line in 2023 and 2024. So, I think they said this past season he even started a lot of he started a lot of games at right tackle. So they moved him all over the line. And at 6'7", 309, if you can play center, hey man,
I agree.
That's OD, bro.
And I was just looking at his draft profile as well. Like, I mean, he had a 77% pass blocking win rate and a 77% run blocking win rate. So he's a guy that's going to get the job done. And even from his draft profile, like they were projecting him to be like a day 3 guy, of course, but man, I think Georgia's a pro style offense, 100%. That's a pro style offense that plays in the SEC, and for him to be a all SEC second team, that's huge. And I think the 6'7", 309 pounds, like you said, is a huge factor. Do I think that he comes out and gets the job right away? Probably not. I think Wattenberg is experienced there, and I think he might take that next step as well. However, I think you have that safety blanket for the offensive line. If one of those guys go down, guard, tackle, or center, Xavier Truss is a guy that can fill that hole. I like the signing. I actually think that he's probably one of the few guys from undrafted free agents that I think makes the roster. So
yeah, I most definitely think so too. He played a lot of tackle, and the thing is, we saw what happened with Mekhi Becton. He came into the league as playing majority tackle. I think in college, and they moved him to guard, and dude is all world. And I think this guy, like, they got him listed as guard, even though he played majority tackle, but they moved him all around the line, and he played center. And I definitely think that's something that the Zach Strief and the Broncos could be like, bro. Or I mean, if even if it's not center, like, I definitely think he could challenge. I ain't saying he gonna take any of the guard spot, absolutely not, especially not this season. But like in the near future, like, I don't think he plays that much this season unless he just comes into camp and he's blown away and they're like, this dude could play center, all of that, whatever. But I definitely think in terms of once like we see a guy like Ben Powers' contract may be up, and I think he's got 1 year left on his deal or something like that, maybe 1 or 2 years, that they be like, hey man, instead of going out and get a guard, let's get his guy a shot, depending on how he is. And I just wouldn't be surprised by it. I mean, he's an absolute unit, bro. 6'7", 3. They got him listed at 320 on ESPN, but the article said 309, whatever he is. So basically, he's between 310 and 320.
He's a big old boy. That's all we know.
It's ridiculous. So that's something to look out for. The next guy I want to talk about, who's a free agent who was recently cut. They cut him actually a few days ago. David Andrews, the Patriots let go their longtime center. He's been there since 2015. And I'm not mad at it at all. This year he was hurt. So they let him go, kind of going a little younger at the position, going a little younger at the offensive line. But hey man, going into the season, PFF had him ranked as the 6th best center in the league. And I think the only guy that was ahead of him was Eric McCoy, Ryan Kelly, Linderbaum, Frank Ragnow, and Creed Humphrey. And he had just signed an extension too with the Patriots. They let him go, and he's a free agent. Now, I will say this is a guy I could definitely see Denver closer to maybe camp if they're not satisfied with Wattenberg and want to bring him in some legit competition. Like, I think David Andrews is a guy you could definitely bring in, and I don't think it will really break your pockets. I think you maybe bring him in on like a 1 year, $6 million deal, somewhere around that, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, but around that number. Bring him in, man, and shit. You never, like, bro, I really think an all-pro level center, Pro Bowl level center can make this run game insane, bro. Like, even better than the run protection from last year. And I definitely think David Andrews can be that guy. I just think it's something to look. It's definitely something to look into, because I just don't think they're 100% sold on Wattenberg.
I agree. I agree with that, and with RJ Harvey, like we talked about earlier, I think with his speed and his vision, he's going to be able to get through the tackles and get through the offensive line probably faster than the most running backs in the league. Kind of like Bucky Irving did, with the Bucks. And if you have a center that opens up holes wider, I think that would be huge for the run game, especially for a guy like RJ Harvey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I think he can definitely, like, most definitely change his offensive line. The thing about Luke Wattenberg, PFF, they gave him an offensive grade of 64.3, which ranked 18th in the NFL among centers. So I don't think it's crazy to say that the Broncos could go out and try to get him. Not to mention, he was the team captain for New England, and we all know how Sean loves pros like that, guys that take command, and I definitely think getting a guy like him could do wonders for Bo Nix as well, man. Definitely. But we'll see how it goes. But I would love if we got him, bro. I'm gonna just be so.
I would like it too, and I think that even if Wattenberg wins the job, I think that kind of gives the pressure of, like, you're going to perform or we're going to throw the vet in there. And
Mhm.
I mean, I honestly I think that Andrews would be the
I
starter
think
right
if we pick
away.
him up,
He'd be the
I'll
starter
be
right away.
honest. Yeah, like I think if we pick him up, he'll get the job.
That would solidify. I mean, our offensive line last year was number
Like
one.
second.
Well, it's number one in pass rush win rate and number one in run rate run win rate when Javonte Williams is off the field. I got tongue
Yeah, I
twisted.
get you.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so that the O line was already graded. One of the highest. If you add David Andrews in there with all the other, because I mean,
Quinn Miners, McGlinchey, Ben Powers, and
everybody on the O line, in my opinion, is
it's
solidified.
solid. Yeah,
Besides center, do I think he could get there? Yeah, I think
yeah,
Wattenberg could get there, but I
yeah. I
think
think he gets it.
right now, like if we're talking Andrews with those other guys that we just named, or Wattenberg, I think we're going to go with the guy that was graded the sixth best center in the league over
Yeah,
Wattenberg. I mean, that's just me.
exactly. Not to mention, bro, I think being a team captain is definitely like intriguing as well. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and I definitely think it could be like a six and like maybe 6.5 million to bring him in, man. And I would not be surprised. I think someone's gonna pick him up, definitely. I think he's too good of a player that's just gonna be sitting out there as like going into camp, he's unsigned. I definitely don't think that's gonna be the case. But I would not be surprised if Denver is like, man, we got some little, we got some money left over from our free agency. Let's go bring him in and see what he can give us. Like, I think some of that money that they could throw out to one of these guys that Broncos fans want that we're gonna get into in just a second. I would not be mad if they threw that money at him instead. He could be a serious game changer, bro.
I agree. I
Serious.
agree. I
Like,
think I think when we talk about you know guys that free agents after the draft going after camp or even going into camp, I think that he's probably him and Gerald Everett to me are probably the best two free agent options for Denver to go after because I think you could get them both for damn near nothing.
yeah. Yeah. And for everybody wondering, the injury he had, um, this past year, he had season-ending shoulder injury after week 4. I think they said trying to find exactly what it was. It said something about his rotator cuff. He might have tore his rotator cuff or something like that. But yeah, he opted to go for season-ending surgery, and he even came out and said when they cut him that he was a little shocked by him getting cut. But they said they want to revamp that whole offensive line and go young. So, hey man, he is up for grabs right now. But yeah, like you said, man, him and Everett would be great veterans to be added to this offense that could they're not the biggest names, but they could really change a lot of things for us, bro. Especially just depth purposes as well. Like if you upgrade like an average center and you get you a Pro Bowl level center, like that's gonna like oh my
I
god,
agree, and that
bro.
also gives us depth at the center position with
Exactly.
Wattenberg. Yep.
And yeah, and I'm not saying Forsyth is bad by any means, but I think he's lost a lot of like trust after that Kansas City game. I think like he's a guy that could get cut. I don't think he will get cut. I'm just saying like he's got to definitely earn some of his stripes back because
I mean, if
that Kansas
he
City
lays on
game.
his back the way he did in that game while being a center, snapping the ball, I don't think it'll be too good.
But yeah, let's go on to the next to this next position that everybody's been talking about, running back. Everybody has their feelings about estimate and everything like that, and what the Broncos are going to do with the position. And CBS put out an article today, as a matter of fact, about Nick Chubb and where he could potentially land. And the Bears and the Broncos are amongst some of the spots for him. And he said in the this article, this is Cody Benjamin basically saying that Sean Payton handpicked a new face of the backfield and RJ Harvey. Um, Rookie is a workhorse mentality. But he said Chubb could give the team more proven insurance and potential safety valve for young Bo Nix under center. Um, I see. I'm not opposed to Nick Chubb. I know we did a whole episode dedicated to running backs, and y'all should check that out. Um, but I'm gonna just be so real with you, like as a running back too, I'm not opposed to it. Like it's a big risk, bro. Because like if he was not good when he came back last year, bro. He just wasn't like it wasn't even like a bring him back. The Browns want him back because he's their longtime player. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a guy in that locker room who's got a voice. But in terms of being an impact player, like I don't know if he can still be I don't like. I just didn't like what I really saw from last year. Candidate it was with the Browns, but he just did not look even remotely the same. And I understand his workout videos have been looking really good, like really good, but I don't know, bro. And and this season he'll be 30. I don't know. I'm not just on the Nick Chubb train. Like I wouldn't be too upset if we signed them, but it'll be like maybe they see something we don't, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Nick Chubb talk, I wouldn't be opposed, but it would have to be for the right price. Like the contract's going to be damn near for nothing, 1 year deal, prove it year.
About 3 to 5 million.
I mean, we seen the Cleveland Browns go in the draft and draft two running backs to replace him with. So that tells you that they don't have faith or hope in their franchise running back that's coming off of injury. That's now a free agent because they could probably sign him back for nothing, and bring him back on a prove it year, right? They don't believe in him. They go out and get Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins. And they take the route of we're going to use the young guys, and we're going to use Jerome Ford. I'm pretty sure is still in their backfield. They're going to use those guys. So for me, I wouldn't be mad at it, but it has to be for the right price. I'm on the RJ Harvey train. I want to see. I also have been watching Estime film from when he played. People overreact on Audric Estime. A lot of his film was really good in Denver. Like I went back and watched a lot of it. Solid play for the very minimum that we seen Audric Estime touch the football field. We're forgetting that this guy got put in the doghouse for Tyler Badie to take 2 snaps in a Buffalo Bills playoff game. I mean, and it's because of fumbling, and that's something Sean's always done. Even Mark Ingram. I don't know if you remember back when Mark Ingram was on the Saints, he got put in the doghouse for fumbling.
Yeah.
And that's just a Sean Payton thing.
Yeah, Sean don't play about that.
I
You
expect
fumble one time, you in the doghouse for about 3 weeks.
I expect Estime to take a big jump. I want to see RJ Harvey as the RB1. I want to see the RB2 be Audric Estime, and I want to see Jaleel McLaughlin or Blake Watson or Tyler Badie, whoever is the third best back, be put in packages to help the team. But I think RJ Harvey should take the load. He did it. He did it at University of Central Florida, and he was dominant. And people keep bringing up the size. They're like, oh, he's 5'8", he's 5'9". Ashton Genty is 5'9". Like the height don't concern me. I think RJ Harvey is going to be really, really good, and I'm excited to see him take over this backfield. I think he's going to be the best back we've had since Philip Lindsay, and that might be a crazy hot take, but I really do.
We still ain't replaced Phil, bro. Yeah, man, but that's actually a good transition to our next guy, J.K. Dobbins, who's 5'10". So, and everybody wants him to be in the Bronco uniform. So I don't really care about the height thing, man. But that's just people for you. But yeah, we talked about J.K. before. I definitely think that I don't know. Like, I'm not opposed to bringing JK in. He's obviously got that tender on him for a 7th-round pick. But I think that's like a move. Like, I think if they bring in a running back, it'll be closer. It'll be like in camp, bro, or right before camp. If they're not comfortable with Jaleel being the RB3, but I don't think they will, man. I think they got a lot. They got a lot of young backs that they want to see. Tyler Badie, he's gonna come back healthy. Blake Watson, they kept him around for a reason, and Jaleel is still in that room. So they got a lot of backs to choose who's gonna be that RB2, RB3. I think Estimate will be the RB2. I think a lot of these, I don't know who's gonna be the RB3, but I mean, if they bring in a J.K. Dobbins, I think I wouldn't hate it. And the only reason I say I wouldn't hate it is because say RJ Harvey does go down, God forbid, right? Like we're kind of right back in the same hellhole that we were the year prior. But like I think running back is a position where you can adjust to that during the season. Not saying that J.K. is gonna be available during the season. But I definitely think that like say somebody goes down during the season, running back is a position where you can bring someone in and get production pretty quickly. And I think the Broncos will deal with that when time comes to it. But I would not be shocked if they bring in a running back. But if they do, it'll be closer to camp. It's not gonna be no time soon. Like maybe like after like maybe like before the first preseason game, something like that. I could see them like, man, we are. I do not trust these boys again. Like if they're completely out on like all three of McLaughlin, Badie, and Blake Watson, like then I could see them being like, man, let's bring in a J.K. Dobbins. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand with J.K.
Yeah, I was one of the people that I was thinking that we may have signed Dobbins after the draft if we felt like that was still a need. However, the Chargers did Charger things and made it to where you have to trade for him now. A seventh-round pick isn't nothing crazy, but something tells me Sean Payton loves Jaleel McLaughlin, and I think Jaleel McLaughlin's still a guy like we've seen at the tail end of last year that he can produce. I think on the outside those need to be gave to RJ Harvey because Sean likes to run on the outside a lot. But I think you can put McLaughlin in the game and he can gain yards. I really have a very strong feeling it's going to be R.J. Harvey, Estime, and McLaughlin. And it's going to be a committee backfield led by R.J. Harvey is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and one back, they did bring in for, I think they brought him in for a tryout, or they're going to bring him in for a tryout, was Chris Evans, the running back from, I think the only team he's played for really is Cincinnati. And I'm bringing him up because I thought it's really interesting that, they brought him in for this tryout because I think he can definitely get signed. I don't know about making the initial 53, but I think it's very interesting because he is the literal Sean Payton type back. He's mainly just a receiving back, honestly. If you watch any of his film from his time in Cincinnati, like he was a guy that they got the ball out wide, definitely in the screen game. I mean, he just strictly a receiving back, honestly. And I think they were playing him at return man a little bit too. I don't know how for sure that is, but I feel like I remember seeing him a lot, in summer. Yeah. I feel like I remember seeing him a lot in the return game, and I am right. Yeah, he definitely returned kicks for Cincinnati. But I just think that's very interesting for him. I feel like if he does well in his trial, he makes the team. I think he's a back that's going to be thrown in there as having a really good shot of making this team and being the running back 3. Like I would not be surprised if he does well enough to kind of be the replacement for Jaleel. I think Jaleel is a way better like hand the ball off running back too, but I think he kind of fits that Sean scheming where like you could see him come in for some plays for RJ Harvey and being the replacement for him that way in terms of, man, just he's in the game. It's a screenplay to him, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But, that's just some fun, I think, it could be thrown out there by Chris Evans. We'll definitely see what happens. If he does terrible on this tryout, then, it is what it is. But I just think it's something to look out for.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it's something that could happen. However, somebody we've not really talked about prior to their back injury looked really promising, and that's Tyler Badie. I mean, dude, like he looked so promising, and then went down with that insane back injury. Granted, his numbers I don't think were amazing, but he looked very promising. He showed flashes, and there was a point where, I mean, you probably remember this, where Bronco fans were saying he was our best back last season.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that, and I would not be surprised if he's the official RB3.
And I like him a lot. I think him and Jaleel have a lot of the same traits. So
I think they might like Badie a little bit more. I think Sean definitely, because, bro, it's the reason why he played him in that game. He played him in the playoff game, and, bro, he named him the running back 1 the game against the Jets, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. And, dude, before that injury, dude, like, he looked so promising, bro. Like, I remember, like, I was thinking, damn, we finally got our guy back there. Because, like, he was looking good. And then that crazy back injury. And hopefully, shout out to Badie. Hopefully he gets, back to what he was prior to that back injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he'll definitely be ready to go. But I think he could be a guy that would most definitely, I would not be surprised, is named the running back 3 and, takes kind of Jaleel's place a little bit. But Jaleel, I still think Jaleel is going to make this team. I think there's one guy that'll definitely give him a run for his money. Is going to be Tyler Badie. And you never know. The Broncos might go into the season with 4 running backs on the roster. You never really know what they'll do. But yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts on the running back room.
I mean, they had 4 a couple times last year. I mean, remember when they elevated Blake Watson? He's not shown anything crazy, but he can also be that receiving back. Like you're talking about Evans. I mean, out of Memphis, Blake Watson was a pretty good receiving threat, and I think that he He played in a handful of games for Denver, and I think that a couple of them he looked decent. Did he look amazing? No.
Nah, he
No.
didn't look amazing,
But
he was solid.
he's an undrafted free agent for a reason. And I think we got to remember that these guys that played last year that were in year one, they can take that step in year two. And you never know. We might see a Blake Watson take a step. I think we're going to see an Estime step for sure. I would bank on that. And Jalil could even take a step. And that would be something that, would be amazing to see, two of the guys that were here last year take that step, and you bring in R.J. Harvey and he's ready. Like the Broncos run game would be it would be a total turnaround. Like it would have been, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I think that's all the positions I had. Did you have any positions you want to talk about?
There's one guy I do want to talk about that I feel like we could get as a depth piece. At inside linebacker, he actually played for the Patriots as well. Jawan Bentley, that they cut. I think he would be a solid depth piece as well. And there's also another linebacker. I can't pinpoint the name. You'll probably know. He got cut by the Cincinnati Bengals recently.
Germaine Pratt.
Yeah, I mean, either of those guys.
I don't think Pratt got cut yet, but I think he like I remember he asked for a trade, but I don't know if they cut him though. Let me see. But keep going.
But yeah, either of those guys, if Pratt did get cut, either him or Bentley as a depth piece would be super big to me. But
yeah, he hasn't gotten cut yet, but it's looking like he will.
I don't know that it'll be a necessary move because we brought back Justin Strnad. I think Denver is high on him as a depth linebacker.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I don't know about him.
I don't think he's a starter, but I think as a depth piece, he's a very, very good role playing linebacker. I don't think he's a starter by no means, but I think that he is a guy that you can depend on. If you have Singleton out there, Singleton goes down, I think you can bring in Justin Strnad, and it may not be the same, but I think that he can be productive.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this about Justin Strnad. I think he's a great special teams guy. I think he played somewhat manageable when he came in, but he is god awful in coverage. Like, oh my God, he is so bad, bro. In coverage. But I think I think he's still a really good tackler. He's really got a good nose for the football, and he's a great special team guy. But I would not. I mean, hey. We'll see what they do. They did bring in, not bring in. They still got Single to come back from this injury, so we'll see what they do. But as far as the depth pieces there, like Drew Sanders, I think they said they're gonna get him back to playing full-time linebacker. But I mean, Jawan Bentley, I wouldn't be, opposed to. I mean, but the only thing with him, I think he's only played for New England. He's been there for a while, kind of been like a real captain on that defense a little bit. And this past year, he tore his pec in week 2, so he's been out. He kind of missed the whole season, but I'm not opposed to it. I mean, he's still young, 28. I'm not opposed to that at all. I haven't done too much work on Bentley, so I don't really know if he's much of a cover guy or not. If he can be a really good fit alongside Dre Greenlaw, which I think he could. Germaine Pratt is a guy I like too, though. That I would not be opposed to. I thought the Broncos, wouldn't mind us to trade for him earlier in the offseason before we got Greenlaw, but hey, we got Greenlaw. But I definitely think he's a guy that can still be in play. I think they're going to cut him to kind of free up some money now because I think he requested a trade, but I think they're going to cut him to try to free up as much money as they can because they want to pay Trey Hendrickson. But yeah, those are two really good linebackers that's on the market, which I would not be surprised if Denver brings in one of them. But I definitely think they want to see what they got in. They want to see how Singleton's going to look coming back, and they want to actually see Drew Sanders like in what he can be because I definitely think if Drew Sanders can stay healthy, like we can definitely see him and Greenlaw next to each other be really good. So,
I agree, and if he don't, and I was thinking about this yesterday actually, and a lot of people are talking about this guy that we drafted that is an edge rusher, but he's also a guy that can play stand up linebacker, and that's Q Robinson, man.
Robinson, yeah.
And I think if Drew Sanders, I think that Q Robinson is going to put pressure on that linebacker room because I think he's so damn athletic,
so damn fast, versatile.
That they, dude, he could be out there, man. I mean, him and Dre Green. I think, and you might think I'm tripping. He reminds me of Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, like so here's the thing about that. I think I said this in my tweet as well when I tweeted about Q Robinson. I'm trying to find it real quick. Yeah, I said yeah, if he's developed correctly, he can be what we thought and expected Drew Sanders was going to be. Not to mention just how Van Joseph kind of runs his defense. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in some of those middle linebacker blitz packages. And Vance just sends him to holy hell through the gap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would not be surprised if we see a lot of that, but I could definitely see them kind of working with him at linebacker too more. You know what I'm saying? Seeing like, bro, this dude is a demon. Like, but we have to see because for linebacker, you do got to have a good nose. Not good. Like, you got to be able to. It's definitely a transition. But I do think Drew Sanders, as far as this season goes, is going to get more of an opportunity here. I could see in the future them maybe want to move Q Robinson, you know, in the future. But I think this year though they want to see what they can get out of Drew Sanders. I would not be surprised if Singleton is like the third string guy going into the season just because they want to see that Drew Sanders. But he just got to stay healthy, bro. That's it. If
Oh,
he
I
can be
agree.
healthy, if he can stay healthy, I think the sky's the limit for him. But bro, it's been what 3 years,
Yeah.
and we haven't really gotten anything out of Drew. And he hasn't been on the field. You know what I'm saying? And when he's on the field, like even last year, like when he played, the Broncos played him. Like they didn't play him a whole bunch, but there was some key moments in the game where they threw him out there and was like, "Hey man, we need to play." You know what I'm saying? And
His
I'm
first
not
his
saying,
first play back was a sack. I don't know if you
yeah,
remember that.
like
Like
yeah, I remember
he
that.
gets back there and he's a guy that I'm high on. I think everybody's kind of writing him off because of the injury history. But I think they fail to remember that this kid was an absolute stud at two SEC schools in Alabama and Arkansas,
Facts.
and was one of the best at his position at the collegiate level. Um,
And I'm sorry, this will be his third year. But
I
yeah, so
I
it's been two
expect
years.
him to take a big jump if he's healthy. I really do. Like you said, I think Alex Singleton's still going to play. He's a guy that is a guy that can make tackles. But I think when we talk about coverage, no, I think it's going to be Dre Greenlaw and
Drew
Drew
Sanders.
Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, man, and that was a good one. I forgot about Drew Sanders. I didn't forget about him, but I was just like, you know what I'm saying? You just kind of got to see, but he's healthy. So let's just hope. Let's knock on wood, bro. Let's really hope that this man can go into camp healthy and stay that way. Because if he can, I definitely think they're gonna play him. Then definitely gonna give him that chance to compete with Singleton for that job. And I definitely think he fits the scheme of this defense a little bit more than Singleton in terms of coverage wise. Because the Broncos they want people on the field that can cover. They don't want any coverage like liabilities, bro. They want to be able to where like you can't throw the ball against us, and that's just gonna free up the pass rush for just a shit ton of sacks. Kind of the same recipe that we saw last year. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, I think so too.
Bet. Yeah, man. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Actually, wait, do I have one more position? I think. Nah, I was gonna say interior defensive line, but I think we pretty much got a lot for that. I think Savion Jones is gonna have a really big role, especially with everything that's coming out about him. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and hit that sub button. Keep showing us love, man. We love you guys. And yeah, I'm your host JMX, my other host Trav. That's gonna do it for this one. To the next one. Peace out.
Peace.